Hi, this is Trinesha Cottrell, and today I wanted to talk about total praise. I got that title from my pastor, so it's not something that I came up with. And what made me want to call this total praise is because the pastor today, as he was talking about praising God in spite of anything else. Like, regardless of what's happening in your life, regardless if things work out the way that you want them to, or the way that they were always intended to, praising God no matter what. And it really had me thinking about a few different things in my life and how, things have went no, like every way that I could have not expected is how my life has went lately. Like the place that I thought I would be working, the person that I thought I was going to be with, the things that I thought that I would have in my life, all of those things have been gone. And, most people would feel like, "Oh, I have nothing left," or "I lost everything." But for me, because I have God, I know I have everything that I need. I have a house, I have, a car to get from point A to point B. And I know I keep naming these things and they're materialistic, but sometimes I think we don't appreciate having shelter. Sometimes I think we don't appreciate having food, clothes on our back, the ability to breathe, the ability to speak without having to have our mouth wired shut, or, the ability to be able to like make sounds, the ability to be able to taste, the ability to be able to hear the music that you love to hear, or the sound of your mom or dad's voice, or whatever else it is. And sometimes we really get beside ourselves and we start to be unappreciative of the things that God has already blessed us with. And so for me, although I don't have the things that I expected that I would have, I know that I have everything that I need. And sorry about me doing this on camera, but I don't have that much time and I needed to finish my nails. I might just leave them plain, but I don't know. I was going to do green nails today, but depending on how much time I have, I want to make sure that I have enough time to get this done. And so you're going to see me like go back and forth and paint my nails, and I'm going to try to like talk in between and everything else. So excuse me for like doing this on camera, but I really don't have enough time to do the video and do this. So I'm trying to make sure that I make the most of my time because I have some people that are waiting on me, and I wouldn't say waiting on me like that. There's no time that I'm supposed to be there, but my plan was to be there at a certain time, but I needed to finish up some things for my business, and then I wanted to make sure that my daughter got most of her project done and stuff like that before we left, because making sure that we are getting education together is the most important thing than trying to be somewhere at a certain time, and hopefully other people understand. you know and it's not to say that I'm negating their time, or I'm trying to take their time for granted, or be not being respectful of their time. I absolutely appreciate any of the time that anyone gives me. And I want to make sure that they know that I appreciate the time that they allow me to be able to spend with them. And also know that if something comes up, hopefully they're understanding. And so as I started thinking about my life being different than anything I expected, it's so funny because God will insert people, places, or things in your life when you just feel like you don't understand why, or you feel like, oh my goodness, if I lost these things, but God's like, here's another thing. Like He will replace it with something so quickly in my life that I barely even get a chance to like mourn the loss of something else. It's kind of like it's not really a loss, it's a lesson anyways. Like everything God has taken away from me has been for my benefit. It's been something that has truly blessed me. Like I might have thought I needed that thing. I might have thought I needed that person. I might have thought that that person was going to be something that they're not. But no person could ever be God. That's something that we don't realize, and something that we kind of just glaze over. We're like, "Oh, yeah, we know nobody could be God." But in our mind, when we put this unrealistic standard or this unrealistic expectation on these people, we make it seem as if they are God. But we definitely need to keep ourselves in check and understand that only God is God. No person is ever going to be perfect. That guy that you think is so amazing is not God. He's going to have flaws. That woman that you think is just everything that you want, she might be the things that you need. But God is everything that you have, that you should have in your life. He's the thing that will guide you. He's the thing that will take care of those things that regular people can't take care of. He's the thing that will guide you on the path that you should be on, instead of you trying to follow somebody else. The only thing that I want to follow is God. I'm not trying to follow a human somewhere else. And when I say that loosely because, if I was to get married or something like that, my husband would be a leader and I would follow him because he would be following God, which is why I say God is the only thing that we're following. I'm not saying it as a contradiction. I'm saying it because with every intention of my life, I am intentionally following whatever it is that God wants for me to do. I'm not following another person. I'm following the person that's following God, you know, but God is number one. And so I've been hearing a lot from God, and I guess he's been putting it on other people's hearts, but a lot of people have been telling me that I need to give people chances, that I really need to give people a real chance because a cutoff game is crazy. And I don't say that in a boastful way. I say it in a, like, when you're not healed or you're still hurting or you're going through things in your life, sometimes you have a wall up and you don't even realize that that wall is there. And it's hard to let other people in because you've been so disappointed in the past. And it's hard to see anybody really be about that life. It's really hard to see somebody really step up and really be there for you in the way that they say that they're going to. It's hard to really feel like somebody's really going to appreciate you or not take you for granted. They're going to really like do the things that they say they're going to do. They're really going to be intentional about the things that they're trying to do in life. And not everybody is like that. I know we like to believe that most people do what they say they're going to do, but not everybody does. And so as God has been blessing me with that message, I have really been like, you know what, God, you're absolutely right. I can't just expect every person to let me down. I don't expect them to be God, but I probably don't need to be so cynical about every person that enters into my life. Like, I'm not saying I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt and making them into something that they're not, because as humans, we're all going to make mistakes. But when it comes to allowing people to be themselves, I need to allow people to be who they are. And I can't make them into something that they're not. If they're not ready for something, if they are not in a position where they want this, if they don't want me, whatever the deal is, or if I don't want them, I need to be real with myself and I need to acknowledge the fact that this person is being truthful. I need to acknowledge the fact that, I need to really think about the things that I truly want and be intentional about it. And I need to keep an open mind and not just be so closed off on everything, thinking that every person is going to not be anything. Every person is never going to do all of these things. And it's so funny because when I was talking to this person, they said something that really made me think about life. And it really made me think about type of person that I am. And it's so funny because I'm thinking that I'm not guarded and that I'm like, I'm just being normal. It's no big deal. This is just me just being, no one can tell that I'm really like standoffish and I have all of these guards up. But people really do notice that. People really notice that you have a wall up when you have a wall up. And it's hard for people to get to know you when you're so closed off. And this person that I know said something like, you know, if you spend a lot of time expecting somebody to never be anything, or you like your cutoff game is super super strong or whatever, and you just are so ready to cut people off or not give people a chance, you'll never have an opportunity to meet the right person. You'll never have an opportunity to really see if that person could be a person. If you are already like cutting people out, if you're already expecting them to not be anything. Because sometimes, and for my life, this is how it's been lately, I'll expect someone to be something or do something that they're not going to do. And altogether, they will turn out to be someone totally different. Like, I would meet this one guy and he would be, equally yoked and all of these things that I think that I would want in a person. And God, sorry. And God's telling me, this is not the person. Like, this is the type of thing that I want you to be open to. Like, I want you to have an idea in your mind of like what it is that you truly desire, and I will fulfill all your needs. I will I will give you the desires of your heart, because it will be you focusing on me, and the things that you want will be the things that God wants for you. And it's funny because I had these unrealistic expectations for this person that I barely know. And I know it sounds weird, but I really did expect them to be something totally different. And it wasn't because, I expect them to be God or anything like that. I just, in my mind, had this idea of what this person was. And God showed me in the last month or so that, just because this is what I thought this person was does not mean that this is who they truly are. They are who they are. They're human that makes mistakes. They're a person who is not perfect. And because of the choices that they've made lately, it helped me see them not as this, you know, great person who's just, whose ish doesn't stink, if that makes any sense. I couldn't, for lack of a better term, I couldn't think of something better to say there. So that's as real as it gets. And so when reality hit me and I realized that not everybody is who you expect them to be, they are who they are. It kind of helped me not put people on a pedestal or believe that someone could be something else. I needed to take people for who they are. And in order for me to do that, what God has showed me lately is that I have to give people a real chance. I can't just say, well, they said one thing that I don't like, so now they're not the person. I need to really be open to the fact that, hey, everything isn't what it seems. Nothing is as it seems, is what I'm learning in my life lately. Because all of the things that I thought that I would have at this point, I don't have. Like, I'm not still with the person that I was with for 15 years. I'm not, in this job that I thought I was going to be in. Like, even when I first started out and I was taking psychology classes, I'm not a psychologist right now. Like, I still want to help people and everything, but I didn't end up doing that. Even like some of the other things that I had for my life that I thought that I would do or have, none of those things turned out the way that they would. But what's funny is that I honestly feel like I wouldn't change any of them. Like, having my daughter is a blessing. Having the life that I have is a complete blessing. And I really wouldn't change any of those things. I feel like because of the type of person that I am, God had to show me in the way that He showed me. Because if I didn't see it for my own eyes, I would have never listened, if that makes any sense. Like, I would have just felt like I'm going to do it my way, regardless, instead of knowing that God's got this. Like, I don't have to try to figure it all out. I don't have to have all the answers to everything. I don't have to know everything. Yes, I need to be living my life intentionally. I'm not just saying I'm going where the wind blows. I'm just saying that if God is taking me somewhere, I'm following Him there, regardless if I know what the end results are going to be or not. Regardless of if I have a play by play of what my life is going to look like or not, I know God, and that's enough, you know? And so it's just so funny because we really get beside ourselves thinking that we know how everything's going to work out. I'm going to work this job. I'm going to go here for 10 years. I'm going to go this place. I'm going to be with this person. I'm going to do this thing. And God's like, where did you get that idea from? Did you discern with me before you decided to make a whole plan for your entire life? Before going to this school, before talking to this person, before working at this job? And if your answer is no, that's the reason why you have so much discontent. That's the reason why you feel so unfulfilled, or the reason why you feel like you're missing something in your life is because God's not in it. I'm going to tell you one thing. When I found God, when I rededicated my life to God, it literally filled something in the inside of me that only God could fill. That hole in my soul that I thought I could fill it with a person, place, or thing. I thought I could fill it with, something. And none of those things were good enough. Those things might have temporarily fulfilled me. They might have made me feel a certain type of way, like just for a little bit, but it was nothing that fed my soul. It was nothing that was enough. Everything was like temporary. Everything wasn't sustainable. It was something that I could do for a little bit, but it wasn't something that I can do forever, you know. But God is forever. And I'm going to say in conclusion, and then I guess I'm going to close out and then try to leave because I do need to be gone. Yeah, it's getting real late. But when it comes to total praise, you have to praise God regardless of what's happening in your life. It might look like things aren't going to work out. It might look like there's no way. But when you start believing in God, when God's in your life, when God picks you up off the ground, when he changes things in your life in an instant, when you lose things and you still feel joyous and you feel content in your life and not stressed out. Like at this point, most people in my position would be stressed out. They'd be like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I literally am focusing on God. I'm doing all the things that I need to be doing. I can't do anything else besides what it is that I have to do. That's it. And me being a better version of myself or the best version of myself is everything that I should be doing. I don't need to try to pretend to be like Joan or Jane or Sam. I need to just be like Trinesha. And in order for me to be myself, I have to be true to myself. I have to be realistic with myself. And I don't mean realistic like I'm not about to pray abundant prayers. I mean that when it comes to the things that I want in my life, I need to be honest with God and tell him the things that I want. I need to be honest with myself and say, hey, I'm still struggling here. I need to be honest with myself and say, hey, maybe I still do have a wall up here. But even though I thought I let the wall down, it's so funny because I really thought that, okay, I'm going to lower my wall and I'm going to be fine. And I will meet certain people or have a conversation and I could feel it just immediately come up. I can immediately feel myself getting ready to push people away. I can immediately feel myself getting ready to say things that will push people out of my life. And it's really something that I don't get to just stop doing. I always am going to have to put forth an effort because I know that this is an area that I struggle in. I'm always going to have to intentionally be willing to allow someone in. I'm going to always have to intentionally be trying to just allow people to see me, see a part of me. Not just to be so open that my heart is just open for attack or anything like that. I just need to be open enough to be able to allow the right person in. I need to make sure that I'm doing that with intentionality because I know this is a place of my life that I struggle in. I know that, after the pain, after the hurt, after everything that I've been through, it's just like a knee-jerk reaction. It really is. Sometimes I don't even realize that I'm doing it and I'm pushing people away. I have to literally live my life intentionally seeking God's discernment so that he can allow the right people to be in my life. And one thing that really helps me that this other person helped me realize is that listening to what someone else is telling you, like the red flags and stuff that sometimes we try to like skim over and just act like they don't matter. Or, oh no, but I can change this, but I can do this way and it'll work out like this. But I need to be realistic and understand and listen to people when they tell me certain things in their life. Because just like I'm struggling in certain areas or I'm going through my own season, they're going through their own season as well. And instead of me thinking something totally different, just allowing God to show me the things that I need to know. Being real with myself and saying the things that I really truly want in life. And not just like, oh, it'll be fine. I can just do it this way. Like, no, I need to do it God's way. And I need to honestly know what it is that I want and stick to that. I did something the other day and I was so proud of myself. And I know it's going to sound weird and maybe weak to some people because you probably always been that type of person who just does all the right things all the time. But for me, I really was like, I was really like, I just, I really was feeling like I can just do things this way and it'll just be fine. It'll just work out this way. I can just do, what I want in this season. And, it really doesn't matter. But everything that you do has to be intentional because it's leading you towards the next stage of your life. Every day builds upon itself. So what you're doing in one day will help with the trajectory of everything else that's going to happen. I hope that makes sense because sometimes we feel like, oh, I'll just do this random thing that, really means me no good, but let me just go ahead and do it. And then you look back and you're like, I should be at this place in a year. And you're not there because you decided to just do what you wanted. That day that you thought was not going to amount to anything was pivotal in your entire life. It was something that was going to change the course of all of the things that were yet to come. And everything that you're learning that people say is a loss or they feel like they failed at something is a lesson for you to do better. Every time I meet someone, I learn something new about myself. And every time, and I mean in any area, at work, as a friend, whatever else. And it really helps me see the areas of my life that I still need to work in. It helps me see like the things in my life that I need to change or I'm willing to change, the things that I want to become better at. And it really helps me want to do things the way that I should be doing them and not the way that anyone else is telling me to do them. Like if I know that I struggle in a certain area, it's helping me highlight those areas and be more of what God intended for me to be and nothing more, nothing less. And so for you, I hope that in your life, you do not let your heart be troubled because you know that God's got it, that you continue to stay focused on Him and let everything in your body have everything in your life have breath. Allow God to be the thing that guides you throughout your life. I know sometimes we feel like we got it. We don't need anything else. We are self-made. No, I'm God-made. Like I can't imagine doing anything without God. I literally have been through some horrible things in my life, and I don't mean it like I'm trying to negate anyone else's horrible story or anything like that. I just mean that ever since I found God, it literally has given me this peace and joy that I've never imagined I could have in my life. I always thought life was going to be hectic or a nightmare. And with God, it just allowed me to be so grateful. Just being able to be blessed in every way that He intended for me to be blessed. All of the things that He has for me are for me. No person could ever take those things from me. And so it just allows me to just be in my life, be intentional, be a good person, be kind hearted, be genuine, be true to myself because I truly love myself. And because God loves me, it really helped me love myself and show the right type of care towards other people. Like before I knew God, I really didn't know what love really was. I thought love was just something that you feel when you feel like your heart going faster and slower at the same time. All of these like cliche terms and everything. But God is love. The type of love that Jesus had for us when he died is the same type of love that we give to one another. When we have grace towards them, when we allow them to be who they truly are instead of trying to make them who we want them to be. That is real love. Really taking the time to ask somebody how they're feeling instead of just thinking about yourself is love. Being completely selfless, being patient, kind, understanding, not being boastful or keeping records of wrongs is love. Everything that you are is who you're created to be. Just be better, seek God, be disciplined, and continue to have faith no matter what happens in your life. Have total praise.